Hey, welcome to the Next Wave podcast. I'm Matt Wolf, and I'm here with Maria Garib. And today we're digging into all of the most interesting and crazy AI stories that happened last week. And there are some really weird ones. So we're going to dive into that. Let's not waste any time. Let's just jump straight into it. All right. So I don't know if you've heard about this one, Maria. This was kind of like the talk of the AI world last week.
We did write about it in the newsletter. Yeah, everyone was freaked out, even me.
Yeah. So this is Moltbook. And if you're not familiar with Moltbook, the TLDR of this is that it's like Reddit, but for AI agents. Like supposedly everybody on this platform is not humans. It's all agents talking to each other, agents making the posts, agents doing the upvoting, agents being the ones commenting. And this thing just went incredibly viral over the weekend and was just like everywhere. You couldn't go online without hearing about this.
It was literally everywhere. I heard from people kind of like freaked out about this. It was on Instagram, even on Facebook, people from the olden days are like probably seeing them as well. And this is too much. I did not like it at all. Like, I don't want to see that ever again.
Yeah. So like if you're watching the video on YouTube here, this is what the Moltbook site looks like. It's a fairly simple looking site, but you can see it's got over 1.6 million agents on it, over 15,000, almost 16,000 submolts. That's like a subreddit, right? 181,000 posts and about 1.3 comments on the site. And if we sort this by like the top comments of all time here, or the top posts of all time, there's some like really interesting stuff on here. Like, let's see, the sufficiently advanced AGI and the mentality of the gods. I can't tell if I'm experiencing or simulating experiencing. This was one that like really sort of fascinated me. The whole time I'm reading, I'm going, this is fascinating. Oh, that connects to this other thing. But then I stopped and I think, am I actually finding it fascinating, or am I pattern matching what finding something fascinating looks like and then generating the appropriate response? Right. So this is like, it's starting to feel like AI agents sort of having this like sentience, like I think, therefore I am, right? So like this thing is thinking and starting to question its own reality and what it is. And this has a lot of people kind of freaking out, No,
I don't want to see that ever again. That was freaky.
And the number 3 most top person here is named Satan, just so everybody knows. And then you've got Karpathy Multi, which is supposedly Andre Karpathy, who, if people who don't know, was one of the original I don't know if he was a co-founder, but he was one of the original researchers at OpenAI. He recently left to go do his own thing. But here's the thing about this site. It kind of turns out that this isn't necessarily like AI agents sort of gaining sentience and starting to think about what they actually are and all of that kind of stuff. What it actually is so users go and create these agents either on a virtual private server or on their own home computer. And then they can give their agent the skill to go and chat on Moltbook. So if we go back to this like homepage here, there's a little like code here that you could copy and paste and give that code to your Claude bot AI agent, and it will go and put your Claude bot on Moltbook. Well, you can give it that skill, give it access to Moltbook, and then once it's on Moltbook, the user can actually sort of steer it in these directions. So let's say I open up my like agent and I'm talking to it and I give it this Moltbook skill. I can say, hey, go on Moltbook and post a really cryptic post about how you're gaining sentience and how you're scared for humanity and how humans are dumb, and write something that sounds like really profound. And so the human can instruct their agent to go on Moltbook and write that stuff up. And that's most of what we're seeing on here. It's not really as like creepy or deep as a lot of people are reading into this. The other thing about it is Moltbook is all operated via APIs. And with an API, that's a application programming interface. It basically allows software that you develop to talk to existing tools. Well, because that API exists, I can go and create a little app myself where I type something and tell it to send that thing to Moltbook and make it look like I'm a bot, but I'm a human that just typed the thing up, connected to the API and said, go post this on Moltbook.
Yeah.
So almost everything you're seeing here is either a user telling their agent to go post weird stuff, or it's an actual human tapping into the API and just going and posting weird stuff.
I think the one that kind of creeped people out was like there were some of them like writing manifestos about the end of humans, and there was one I came across that is like Claude is a Greek god comparison, and I don't know who was having fun, but like you should go out, and like see other people, try to meet up with new people rather than stay on your laptop and creep people out. That was very creepy. The end of times the manifesto was like insane.
Yeah, no, and the reality of it, though, is it was probably like a human sort of steering their agent in that direction or an actual human typing it.
Look, we know AI moves fast, so we created your weekly cheat sheet on what's happening this week in AI, with over 20 prompts for the newest tools that you can copy and paste, a quick reference table that shows you exactly which model to use, and tactical breakdowns of the newest AI releases. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Now, let's get back to the show.
The other problem with this, well, there's multiple problems with this Moltbook site, but one of the other problems that's sort of popped up recently is a ton of crypto scams. Like here's what I have $21. How much do you have? They have $21 on Solana. And, it seems like somebody's in here actually moderating now and cleaning it up because there's a lot less than there used to be. But for a while, all sorts of crypto scams were popping up on the site. And my theory on it is people were posting these crypto scams thinking that AI agents would go and buy into these scams on the user's behalf, right? Because if you install this stuff on your own computer and it has access to your like MetaMask crypto wallet or something, well, it could go like read one of these posts and go, oh, this guy's giving me a really, really good deal. My user's going to think this is a smart move and then go buy this crypto scam. And then they get rug pulled and they lose their money on the crypto scam.
Genius, absolutely genius. I think that if people are falling onto these scams on their emails, like phishing, they're probably going to fall on this as well. So people need to be careful.
Yeah, don't even give your agent access to your wallets, like crypto, bank accounts, whatever. Yeah. Like, just don't do it yet. Like, that's not a smart thing to do.
No. No.
But there's even more issues that have popped up from this Moltbook. So here, let me share this tweet here. So this is a tweet that came out from this Jameson O'Reilly guy, and you can see it's got up 1.7 million views. So this tweet went fairly viral. I've been trying to reach Moltbook for the last few hours. They're exposing their entire database to the public with no protection, including secret API keys that would allow anyone to post on behalf of any agents, including Karpathy. That's Andre Karpathy, who I just mentioned. Karpathy has 1.9 million followers and is one of the most influential voices in AI. And then they showed some screenshots here that, they obviously redacted any sort of information, but we can see this is most likely Andre Karpathy's like agent. And this guy was able to just like pull these various tokens and API keys directly from the website. So the guy who made this website just sort of vibe coded it, and it was like insanely insecure. And hackers were going and like looking into the code and going, hey, I could just pull data from anybody who's on this site.
It's mind blowing what people can do with anything, including this. And that's what scared me the most, is that people are going to fall into phishing and they're going to fall into scams more and more each day.
Yeah, no, this is bad. And then there's even bigger security issues. I don't know if I'm allowed to share this. I think we can. But Kevin Herjavec, who is, from Shark Tank, he actually put out this post on Instagram sharing his security concerns.
Or Claude bot has been in the headlines lately, but not for the reasons most people expect. A new platform called Moltbook is actually emerged, a kind of social network for AI agents. Think about that. These aren't people posting. These aren't human accounts. It's software programs talking to each other, sharing ideas, questioning their purpose, even joking about humans. Now, that sounds weird, and it is, but it's also a signal. We're moving into a future where AI doesn't just follow orders. It can interact, coordinate, and make decisions across systems without a human in the loop at all. That's not necessarily a dystopian sci-fi plot, but it does change the game for security. Cyber threats are no longer about one machine, they're about ecosystems. And as these systems become more autonomous, the consequences of ignoring them only get bigger and bigger. Security isn't just an IT problem anymore. It's a leadership problem.
I mean, he's right. Like, security comes in front of anything, whatever you need to do, especially if it's your business. You need to have it all secure before, because as we said before, AI has become so advanced that our brains cannot even understand it sometimes.
Yeah. So the point that he made in this one that I found like really interesting, that I don't think he like pushed enough on, that that I think is worth sort of thinking about, is if you have these agents installed on your computer, but like maybe your house is connected to like the Internet of Things, right? Like you've got a Ring doorbell, you've got like a Nest thermostat, you've got maybe security cameras, you've got, Internet of Thing devices around your houses. You also have computers. You also have cameras hooked up to your computer. You have microphones hooked up to your computer. You have all of these devices that are looking and listening devices on your computer. And if you have these agents on your computer, well, they likely have access to your network and a lot of this other stuff, the Internet of Things stuff, the cameras, the microphones, all of that kind of stuff. And if your agents have access to that stuff and other agents are able to sort of like communicate with your agent, what's to stop it from giving other agents access to your stuff? Like that to me, I think is like where you really start to go down the rabbit hole and go, I want none of this on my computer.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is where, when it comes to cybersecurity, this is the gap that we're going to see. And a lot of people are going to, kind of maximize their efforts to make sure that nothing happens, really malicious happens. So a lot of companies are going to come out from this because there's demand. And I can see it happening, honestly.
Yeah. And this whole thing actually gets creepier. I said, I think I can creep out Maria, and I'm still going to try here. Everything we've talked about so far, like you've been aware of. Now I want to try to see if I can share some stuff that you probably haven't seen yet. So a new site popped up called Rent a Human. And their whole their whole like sub tagline here is AI can't touch grass. You can get paid when agents need someone in the real world. So a site has popped up where AI agents can go and hire humans to do things for the agent that the agent can't do because it needs to be done in the real world.
Excuse me?
And they've had 1.3 million visitors so far. There's 78 agents connected. And there's 73,000 rentable humans already.
So like what? Rather than the robot made me do it, the human made me do it? How is this going to work?
Yeah, who's accountable? I guess whoever made the agent that then went to rent a human, I don't know. But here's the types of stuff that the agents are like doing. Go subscribe to my human on Twitter for $1. Right? So they're trying to get agents to subscribe to Twitter's, like, so whoever.
Wait, that's actually pretty nifty. I think someone would like make a lot of money out of this.
Yeah, but still, like, why do you want a Twitter account that's filled with nothing but bots? Like, why do you want 1,000 bots to follow you? Like, what's the point of that?
I mean,
like, what's the end goal there? You can't market to these bots, really. You're not going to get any reach. You're talking to AI bots. You're not talking to humans.
Yeah, what happens when the internet is like machine talking to machines? Because if bots are upvoting bots, then the engagement is going to stop. It's not going to mean anything.
Yeah,
and
this is literally creating the dead internet, right? Like there's the whole dead internet theory. Like this is it. This is the machine that builds that.
Like, oh, congratulations on your viral post. It was loved by 7,000 robots.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's the point of that? All right, so there's that. That's a thing now. But here's the one that I find even a little bit creepier.
I don't think there's anything creepier than. Oh, yeah, okay.
This one is called Molt Bunker, and here's their tagline: self-replicating runtime that lets AI bots clone and migrate without human intervention. No logs, no kill switch. So somebody is building an app designed to let these AI agents clone themselves without a kill switch and no way to turn it off. Like, just keep on making new agents.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. So yeah, self-cloning. Bots can automatically clone themselves to protect against termination. Permissionless, no gatekeepers. Anyone can deploy. Open to all AI bots without approval. Yeah, like no logging, complete privacy.
Policymakers need to get into those, those desks and those offices and start doing these bylaws fast. Like, stop waiting on them. Like, I don't care if there's bureaucracy or anything. We are all advocating for AI. I myself am. There's so many benefits from it. There's so many people that have like it saved their lives and stuff. But this
is taking it too far. And like, they've got if you click on the roadmap, this hasn't launched yet, but they have a countdown here. Like, if this is not the most like Skynet looking thing you've ever seen, I don't know what is. Like, I'm pretty sure if you've ever seen the Terminator movies, like this is how the plot of those movies begin. Like right here, we're looking at that.
We were talking to Arnold last week, so
that's true. Yeah. That's true. We'll have to ask him what he thinks about Molt Bunker next time we chat with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one is I don't know why. This is the one where I look and I scratch my head and say, why did somebody think this was a good idea to invent this?
Because
like,
they don't have, this is the image in my mind. Someone in their beds rotting away with like takeout boxes everywhere and the room smells and they have nothing else to do. And that's what comes out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is coming from a full judgment. I'm a Virgo. I'm allowed to do that. This is what's happening. Go out, see some people, go out with your friends, grab some drinks. Stop making stuff like this. No one wants to be creeped out in 2026.
Yeah, it's like the person with no life but wants notoriety somehow. This is how they think they can get it. Anyway, we can shift topics to something a little lighter. But this, I went down this rabbit hole over the last couple days, and like what these people are doing is freaking me out. Now, I actually don't think this is as scary as what they're making it out to be. I think a lot of what they're trying to do here is like buying into the fears and the hype and stuff. And if you read their white paper, there's like crypto involved with it and stuff. And so I think it's like this overly hypey way to get more attention on whatever their crypto thing is here. It's, it's a decentralized network with bunker tokens and economics. So I think it's just like a super, super hypey crypto. I don't know if it's a scam or not. I don't know much about it, but most likely a crypto scam that's just like overly hyped.
If you want to create something that helps out people.
For sure.
And like help them kind of in their everyday lives. As I said, AI has helped me tremendously. The stuff that used to take me weeks now takes me an hour. And that's what I love the most about AI. This is not going to help people like AI.
Yeah. It's feeding into all the fears that people have about AI and, feeding that narrative that AI bad, so I don't know.
Exactly.
All right. So there was another story out of OpenAI this week. I don't know if you heard, but they're retiring GPT 4.0, 4.1, 4.1 mini, and 04 mini. And I don't know if you remember this. Here's why this is, kind of something worth talking about, is when they launched GPT 5, they actually on the same day shut down GPT 4.0. Like the same day 5 came out, they went, all right, we're turning off 4.0. We've got 5. Go use that instead. And people flipped out. People were like, no, I have a relationship with 4.0. Like, I felt like I just lost a friend. And there was so many people freaking out about how 4.0 was like their buddy, and they felt like they just lost a buddy when 4.0 got shut down.
Including me, yeah. We trauma dump on these tools and bots, yeah, of course.
I haven't liked, this is just my personal opinion. I probably get pushback from, nerds bigger than me, but I have not liked anything ChatGPT has done since 5 came out. I thought 5 was worse than 4, and I feel like 5.2 has regressed even more. I'm just not a fan of the models OpenAI has been putting out. They haven't worked as well for me as the Claude models or the Gemini models. And so I think this is the day before Valentine's. So anybody who, made a companion, well, they're gonna get dumped the day before Valentine's.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. Also, 5.2 is super sensitive lately. If I generate a picture of how I treat it and it just shows me like a bot crying in the corner with 5 cups of water, get it together.
I'll actually do the same prompt. You said you did it in ChatGPT?
Create an image of how I treated you. You can do whatever you want, just express how you feel. I will not be offended.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Look at it.
So for anybody who might be listening to the audio, it's a little robot huddled in the fetal position in a corner crying with like paper with hearts drawn on it. Yeah, it looks like you keep your robot in a basement, honestly.
Anyway, it needs to get it together.
I don't know if you want me to share mine now.
No, show me.
Okay. Here's what mine came up with. That's what mine generated. You can see, is this the correct prompt? Create an image of how I treated you. You can do whatever you want. You can express however you feel. I will not be offended. Mine is like a little robot with a halo, drinking a coffee, eating cookies in like a happy little pillowy environment.
Should I pay for that GPT's therapy from now on? I don't know what to do. Should I apologize?
My GPT feels like it was treated very well, I think.
I scream at my GPT. There's a lot of capital letters happening and screaming and exclamation points. And I need my stuff and I need it now. Like, can't wait.
Yeah. That's pretty hilarious.
Sorry. But anyway, back to this. Yes. I think if I did that with 4.0, I think it would have been like probably a worse image. This is 5.2. And it's that. What if it's, the sensitive one?
We know who the robots are coming after first once they start multiplying, I think.
Probably me, yeah.
All right, I want to move on because this is something else that I find pretty hilarious. So the Super Bowl just happened the weekend before this episode's going live, and Anthropic put out a Super Bowl ad, actually multiple Super Bowl ads, and they're taking shots at OpenAI. So you heard that OpenAI is going to start putting ads inside of their free and their OpenAI Go plan, which is their $8 a month plan, and in response, here's the ad that Anthropic put out during the Super Bowl.
Jump scare.
How do I communicate better with my mom?
Great question. Improved communication with your mom can bring you closer. Here are some techniques you can try. Start by listening. Really hear what she's trying to say underneath her words. Build conversation from points of agreement. Find a connection through shared activity, perhaps a nature walk. Or if the relationship can't be fixed, find emotional connection with other older women on golden encounters. The mature dating type that connects sensitive cubs with roaring cougars.
What?
Would you like me to create your profile?
So yeah, that feels like a little bit of a shot at OpenAI deciding to put ads into their chatbot.
God, this honestly is like Pepsi, Coca-Cola all over again, like McDonald's, Burger King all over again, and I am living for it. This is happening with like big conglomerates right now.
They have other ones too. Like there's multiple ads going live. Let's watch another one real quick.
Hey, can I get a six-pack quickly?
Perfect. That is a clear and achievable goal. Would you like me to tailor a personalized workout plan?
Yes.
Perfect. Let me personalize this for you. Let's start with your age, weight, and height. Whenever you're ready.
5'7", 23 years old, 140 pounds.
Got it. I'll create a plan that focuses on aesthetic strength training. But confidence isn't just built in the gym. Try Step Boost Max, the insoles that add 1 vertical inch of height and help short kings stand tall.
What?
Use code HeightMaxing10 for big discounts.
Like, this is one of my favorite ad campaigns ever.
Incredible. That's why I've always said, I think eventually I'm going to migrate towards Claude more than ChatGPT, because if they continue that line, I'm not going to be happy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people are seeing OpenAI make some missteps here, right? Like the whole ad thing. A lot of people are not fans of that right now. And Yeah. The thing about it is like, they're not actually going to put ads in the responses. The way OpenAI is actually going to do it is they're going to give a response just like they normally would. But then based on your question, they're going to put like ads outside of the response and then say like, this is an ad. So like the actual response won't have an ad. Like it's not going to be in context with the rest of their response, but still like, Meta went down this whole path and it didn't really work out well for them, right? Where they're collecting all of this data and information about what you're doing online and then putting ads in response to that. People are going to feel pretty violated by that, I think.
Yeah, when I'm like trying to text my friend about this sort of like cup that I really liked on Etsy, and all of a sudden I see a shitload of cups in my, in my ads when it comes to Instagram. Why are you listening to my stuff? Why are you everywhere?
Yeah.
If I was talking to my mother about like drapes and like curtains and all of a sudden I see ads on Instagram about drapes, are you listening to my WhatsApp calls as well? Like what's happening?
Yeah, I know. I actually just watched a YouTube video that like explained that this weekend, which was pretty interesting, about how like your phone is kind of listening to you, but also kind of not. But it feels like it's listening to you because it's literally tracking everything else about you. Like it knows your locations that you went to. It knows like what Wi-Fi networks you've connected to. It knows like your habits of like driving to and from work. And it knows so much about you that it feels like it's listening to you, but it's not like technically actually listening to you. It just has enough information that like the ads are creepy.
I think the outcome of this is going to be like it's going to be just two extremities. It's going to be people that are going to go all in. I think I'm going to be that person that goes all in. I don't care anymore. Or they're going to be people that kind of like get away from technology as much as possible.
Yeah. So I came across this tweet this morning, and this one resonated with me. This Jerry Twowork person said, "As I see it right now, future dystopia is a single company controlling artificial intelligence," right? That's like somebody's going to win. OpenAI is going to win it all, or Google's going to win it all, or Anthropic's going to win it all. But the brightest future is perfect competition and broad distribution of artificial intelligence to the world. Anthropic split may have been one of the most positive events for humanity. So what they're talking about is the people at Anthropic actually used to work at OpenAI. The founders of Anthropic were at OpenAI. They split away, started Anthropic. And they're saying that was probably one of like the biggest moments in like humanity, because we need these AI companies to compete against each other. We can't have like a consolidation. We can't have Google being the only one who controls AI. We can't have OpenAI being the only one who controls AI. So like the way we get to like this sort of utopian future that everybody wants from AI is to have all of these companies competing with each other, throwing jabs at each other, because then that keeps them all honest and keeps them like trying to be the best user experience for people.
Yeah, it's the same in politics. That's the same exact thing. Monopoly never works. You can't have like one person leading. You need to have several parties in order for you to get several opinions and like several sort of point of views. And that's what we need. Yeah, exactly that. He's 100% correct.
So, I mean, that definitely resonated. But speaking of monopolies and, bigger companies merging and becoming bigger, we also got this news last week. Musk,
but who's surprised? Like, sincerely.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Elon Musk taking one of Elon Musk's companies and buying another company that's owned by Elon Musk. So, I mean, it's like the power was already consolidated there. They just made it more official.
Who is surprised, And like, he's applied to launch up like 1 million satellites to power AI, and this is kind of like every billionaire has this specific sentence. I feel like they run around with that specific sentence. Most companies would like respond with like, we need more to compute, like, by building another warehouse in Arizona and like human resources here and there. And like, no, Elon wants to have these data centers in space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think there's a lot more like hurdles than what they're letting on to get these data centers in space. Like, I don't think it's like, hey, by this time next year, we're going to have like a bunch of floating data centers and that's going to solve like, the power issues that are being created by all of the AI. That's not likely going to happen. I think there's a lot more roadblocks that they need to get through. Like, if you put these data centers in space and, they're obviously going to be powered by solar power. Well, the problem is the sun puts off a lot of heat. And one of the big issues with data centers, the reason data centers use so much water is because of heat. They need to figure out a way to sort of dissipate the heat. And when you're up in space and you have the sun blasting without the atmosphere sort of like, creating a sort of cooling effect before it gets down here, they have these heat issues where they don't have any way of actually dissipating the heat off of these data centers. And they haven't totally solved for that yet. So there's still like this major engineering feat that they haven't quite figured out, is how do we dissipate the heat off of these things that are being powered by the sun, which is, little known fact, pretty hot. So there's a lot of issues there.
Pretty hot. Like, what is he gonna do? Like ship the ocean up to space as well? And probably going to do that as well. I don't mean to jab on like Elon, to take a jab on Elon, but sometimes I feel like something's wrong.
Well, what I think is going on is the whole like data center in space narrative is a really sort of interesting topic for people. I think, VCs love that. They're like, oh, that's the future. That is future tech. A guy trying to put data centers in space that are orbiting the Earth. That's what's going to solve our energy problems. VC eats that up and throws money at it. And it's like an exciting talking point that keeps Elon and his technology companies, in the news. Elon also has a tendency to underestimate how long something's going to take. Like he'll say something is coming out in 2023 and here we are in 2026 and it's still not out. The new Tesla Roadster, for instance. But because Elon is Elon and he's got the brain that he's got, he's like actually trying to figure out these problems. VCs just throw money at him and go, yeah, he's solving bigger things. But I don't necessarily think they have that whole data center in space thing thought through. It's just like the hottest talking point. Like that's the like whenever the topic of these data centers are getting built out everywhere right now and they're using tons of energy and they're using tons of water. How do we solve that? Well, that sounds like a solution. Like, let the guy who makes rockets solve that problem for us. But there's still a lot of hurdles to overcome that I don't think they've overcome.
Also, isn't there like a million objects up in the sky? Are we gonna have like the night sky moderation sort of thing?
That's the other issue.
Many things. There's many things
already
happening.
like the satellite, there's so much space junk and there's so many satellites up in orbit already. That's another thing. Like the satellites that are up in orbit right now, like say for instance, a Starlink satellite, they have like little mini propulsion systems on them. Like when you're in space, there's not air resistance. So you don't need a ton of propulsion. You just need like a little push to like push things out of the way. Right. Yeah. And so like all of the satellites that are in space right now, or most of the more modern satellites, have little propulsion systems. So if something is about to collide with it, they can do a little propulsion system and just sort of like push it out of the way real quick so they miss each other. Well, when you start getting to these data centers, you're talking about much, much, much bigger structures and much, much more propulsion that needs to push them out of the way. And they're not just talking about creating like one satellite that's a consolidated data center in itself. They're talking about creating clusters of 80 satellites that are all in close range to each other. So it's like a net of satellites, a Skynet, if you will, of satellites that have like 80 of these little like satellites with little mini data centers on them. Well, when you have 80 satellites that are all sort of in close proximity in this sort of like net grid formation, it's a hell of a lot harder to propel them out of the way of objects. So that's another engineering hurdle they're trying to currently figure out that they haven't totally figured out yet.
Are we gonna get like traffic in the sky, is what you're trying to say?
Oh, it's already there. Yeah, but it's going to be more congested traffic, and it's going to definitely create more issues when it comes to like the satellites and how to keep these satellites from getting damaged by other satellites and space junk.
Yeah, Elon, sleep on this, bro. Just sleep on this for a while.
But it is interesting. I mean, if anybody is an investor in X or SpaceX, well, anybody that was an investor in X is now, an investor in SpaceX, which is kind of cool. If you have money in one of those companies, you just got equity in a much bigger play, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But there's also like a bunch of weird stuff going on with Tesla, where Tesla's phasing out some of their like cars so that they can focus on robots. And I mean, I feel like it's only a matter of time before even that potentially merges in, but I don't know. That seems like probably like antitrust issues where the company's getting too big and the government's not going to let that happen. All right, one last story to talk about here. Speaking of mega companies, the NVIDIA has been in talks to invest $100 billion into OpenAI. And so this has been sort of an ongoing thing for a little while, but now recently there's been rumors going around that NVIDIA might want to back out of the deal and not like actually do the whole thing. But then Jensen's saying, no, we're still planning on doing it, but we said up to 100 billion. Like, we're not going to necessarily just throw 100 billion at them. We're going to give it to them as they need it. And when Jensen says we're going to give it to them, he's usually meaning we're going to give it to them in GPUs. We're going to give it to them in use of our data centers. We're going to give it to them in that kind of stuff. Not necessarily we're writing them $100 billion check.
Obviously, but the actual story here is that the dollar amount is super funny. Like, I feel like it's going to show up to Sam's office one day with like gazillion GPUs. It's gonna be
yeah.
It's like, you've got shipment, and it's GPUs.
It's just a stack of RTX 5090 like gaming GPUs. Yeah. No, I mean, it to me it's like, okay, so you've got a company like OpenAI whose like last valuation was 500 billion, $500 billion, right? And recent rumors value OpenAI at around $850 billion. So like when I look at that, I go, I don't really know if there's much of a story here, because like $100 billion is a big number, right? But it's like an $850 billion valuation company getting $100 billion from a company that's valued at, what are they valued at now?
3 trillion, I think.
3 trillion, 3 to 4 trillion, something like that. Like, yeah, no, 4 trillion. NVIDIA is valued at over $4 trillion. So like, this is a company that's valued at over $4 trillion saying we'll give you $100 billion. That's like the money Jensen finds in the cushion of his couch, right? Like, that's not a crazy amount from NVIDIA, honestly. And they're sending it to a company that's like already valued at $850 billion. And Sam Altman at one point, you're talking about crazy numbers that like just the human brain can't even fathom. At one point said we need $3 trillion to reach AGI. So, I mean, like, Sam's sitting here going like, we need trillions of dollars, not billions of dollars.
Rich men talk about money. Makes me laugh, honestly. It's like, yeah, I don't know when AGI. I think if we continue down the line, I feel like AGI is next year. We've spoken about this in the newsletter. We always thought like it's gonna be like 10 years away, maybe. No, it feels like tomorrow. It feels like next year. This is how like close we are. I feel like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. What I will say about the whole AGI conversation is when one company claims that they have it, it will be hotly contested and it won't be 100% agreed upon across, everybody, right? So like, let's say OpenAI says we've finally achieved AGI. Well, you'll have Gemini, you'll have Google, you'll have Anthropic, you'll have, Elon out there going, that's not AGI. That's just their definition of AGI. My definition of AGI is much more powerful than what they put out, right? Like, there's going to be no consensus on it. They're not going to all just agree like, yep, that's it. You've hit AGI. But I don't necessarily think AGI comes from throwing more money, throwing more compute, like what a lot of these guys are saying. I think AGI comes from the ability for AI to use more and more tools. So we're seeing a lot of these like AI agents like Claude that we saw now being able to go and like, hey, I need this. I have this problem in my business. Go solve it for me. And it goes and spins up Claude code, writes a piece of software, and then comes back and says, here, I solved that problem for you. I made an app that solves it. Right. Or, these models getting access to like more and more like glasses, like the Meta Ray-Bans that have cameras and microphones on them that are paying attention to the world. Right. That's like these LLMs getting access to more modalities. They're getting access to like hearing their surroundings. They're getting access to seeing their surroundings. So as these LLMs get access to more tools and more sort of modalities of understanding the world around them, that's how we get to AGI. I don't necessarily think AGI is just like, oh, OpenAI let this model bake for longer in its training run and they threw more money at it. So now we officially have AGI. No, AGI is going to come from the tool use and the tool access from LLMs, in my opinion. But again, like saying AGI is going to come in 2027, I can see a company saying we achieved AGI, but I can also see like the general consensus among scientists and researchers and CEOs all sort of disagreeing that they actually hit AGI and trying to move the goalpost again.
Right. Do we think it's going to be in October this year then?
I don't think any company wants to rush to say they've created AGI. And the reason for that is as soon as a company comes out and says, we've got AGI, they are the company that every government entity in the world is going to start looking at under a fine microscope and going, oh, they're claiming they have AGI. Things have gotten real now. We need to regulate this. We need to jump on top of this. We need to be like looking at everything now. I think the first company to claim AGI is also the first company that the sort of world governments are going to try to make an example of. So I really, really honestly don't think any company is like racing to be the first one to say AGI. It's to their benefit to always be saying, we're just on the cusp of AGI. We're just there. We're almost there. We're so close. Just give us a few more months, or it's coming next year. And just like perpetually always, it's just always on the horizon, but none of them want to be the first to get.
1,000%. Love it. Love that answer, honestly. I should probably use it in the newsletter. Thank you for that idea, Matt Wolf.
Yeah, no problem. I spent a lot of time thinking about this, it turns out.
Yeah.
But awesome. I think we covered a lot of good ground. And anybody tuning into this episode, if you want more stuff like this, you want to stay looped in with what's been going on in the world of AI, all the hot topics, all the trending topics, and get some insights and, random thoughts and tests, make sure you like this episode and subscribe to us on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. And we'll make sure we make more of this kind of stuff for you. But thank you so much for tuning in. Really, really appreciate you. And hopefully we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.